this world, and to exploit the human hate, and to create conflict, and to create community or nationality divisions and fighting with each other is very easy, and it can be created at any time with very small instigations or provocations. Today's world is not only facing the challenge of violence. There are different kinds of violence. We are not inflicting violence to only living creatures. We are inflicting violence to the nature. Therefore, the degradation of the environment is alarming and threatening. The global warming and climate change, rising of the sea level, and disappearing of the rivers and water sources. These are very alarming. And thirdly, there is a gap between the haves and have-nots. Economic disparity is a greatest violence, as the previous speakers have mentioned about Gandhi's thought. The poverty is the greatest violence. The poverty, physical poverty, and more these days, psychological poverty, comparison with the much richer people. And even good living people also feel poor. So this economic disparity is another challenge. The direct violence, the economic violence, the violence to the nature, the degradation of environment, these three challenges are really so dangerously threatening to the existence of all living creature on this planet Earth. And we consider the religion as source of salvation, source of happiness, and remedy to all kind of problem. But unfortunately, all the religious traditions are mostly disappeared. What remains with us is the name of the religion and the institutions. So we have converted the religions' names, the names of religions also a source of conflict. Today, there are a lot of talking about religious intolerance. In recent and also when I come into the site, all the newspapers are full of the story about religious intolerance. As a matter of fact, there can never be a religious intolerance. Anyone is a religious person, religious-minded, he or she can never be intolerant. And anyone is intolerant, then it is very clearly evident that the person is not a religious person. He or she does not have any influence of any religion. That's very clear. But the names and the institutions are being used for division and conflict. So the medicine become poison. The source of salvation become a source of division. So this is the human condition as of today. So therefore, we shall have to ponder, is there any remedy to these challenges and problems, or there is no remedy to these? We shall have to understand what is the source, what is the cause of such challenges we are facing today. Gandhi very clearly says that this is the direct product of modernity and modern civilization. I do consider the Gandhi's greatest treatise, the Hind Swaraj, so humble and so small booklet. It is less than 100 pages. You can read in 1 or 2 sittings. And he have wrote it within around 11 or 12 days while he was traveling from London to South Africa. In this, he very in-depthly discusses the cause of violence and cause of today's problem, and how the modern so-called civilization is the root cause of all these kind of challenges and difficulties which we are facing. Why the modern civilization become a source of all the evil? Gandhi usually used to be a very soft spoken, and he never used any harsh words. But in this Hind Swaraj, he used very harsh word twice. One is while he was talking about the modern civilization, he says, if I talk it from the Islamic viewpoint, this is a shaitanic sabhyata, shaitanic civilization. Or if I talk from the viewpoint of the Hindus, then this is a Kali Yugi sabhyata, Kali Yugi civilization. So, we shall have to be revisit the entirety of the Mahatma's thought and his teachings. Why? On what ground, on what basis he is talking about this? His logic is very simple and direct. A civilization or ancient civilization take care of the mind as a principal entity, and body and speech as a medium or channel of the mind. So they take care of all these three in a cohesive way and in a balanced way. The modern civilization have forgotten the mind and only take care of the physical body, pointing out only the physical body. Then the economy is the only value. Nothing else remains for a humanity, human individual. And at the same time, the so-called industrialization have given power to the humanity to produce more commodity than the need of the humanity. When you produce the things much more than need, then of course you shall have to find some user, and you need a market. To create a market, the easiest way is to exploit the human greed and human hate. And for that purpose, you taught the humanity the way to comparison and competition. The habit of comparison and competition has blocked your way to look inwardly. You shall have to always look outwardly. And thereby you lost your own identity or your own self-realization. You do not realize yourself. You do not recognize yourself. Only ego remains, nothing else. And only ego that creates the selfish greed and which destroys the entire relationship between the human beings, relationship between family members, relationship between community members, relationship with the nation and international level. So, therefore, this kind of influence or to exploit the human greed and the human hate is come from the family, come from the so-called educational system, come from the media, come from the society, come from the international situation. Everywhere, the consumeristic way of living, and thereby neglecting to entirety of the inner development, not speaking of the spiritual, even just inner minded development is being neglected. Through these historical changes taken among the humanity, during the last 100 years, the volume and the severeness of violence has been tremendously increased. In accordance with the recent author statistics, the number of human beings killed during the 20th century is more than the number which are killed last 5,000 years duration. 5,000 years of duration in history, there were killings, but the killings during 100 years of 20th century is much more than the last 5,000 years. The writer must have some basis to calculating these facts, and this is now commonly known to many people. And if we look to the power of violence, it is immensely increased. In the ancient times, people fight with each other, or people fight with animals. Both of them have to be exposed to the danger, and a person at most can kill 10 people or 20 people, not more than that. But here and today, the killer cannot expose itself to any other, but just pushing buttons and automatic weapons, they can kill thousands of people. To make the story short, how we are living on this earth today, in accordance to the recent statistic, 23,000 atomic warheads are in actively existence. And the totality of the power of destruction carried by these warheads is 150,000 more of the Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which bombs were used. And I am taking these statistics from authentic books, not imaginary. So the author says that this kind of weapon exists there, and there's always danger of instrument failure or accident or human error. It may not be used intentionally, but there can be the failure of system or accidents which might happen due to natural calamities, and also human error. So the author said that not using a nuclear weapon is to remain from not using the nuclear weapon is a near miracle, and this situation cannot perpetuate forever. All the danger is always there. So this is the situation of today. If we wish to have a future of the planet and a future of the sentient beings living on it, we have to do something very urgently and very immediately. All these challenges which I mentioned before can only be faced through a non-violent action. Non-violence means an action. I need not say non-violent action. Nothing, different methods or different ways can face these challenges and these problems. It's so urgent. Martin Luther King, as I quoted always, just one day before he was being assassinated, said that the only choice is between non-violence or non-existence. That's very true. Today, the choice before us is non-violence or non-existence. There's no any third choice. So in such situation, what we should do, what we can do, there are many pessimistic view which is very pervasive, and it is also been indoctrinated by people intentionally. Large number of people feel that now there is no way to change this, the process of globalization, the process of weapon trade or weapon industry, or the process of conflicts and heat with each other. There's no remedy to it, and whatever it may come, we shall have to face it. This is a very pessimistic thinking, and which does not based on real grounds. I think there is a great chance we can face to these challenges. I have two very solid reasons why I am saying this. If we all wish to avoid such destruction of entire planet Earth, we have a chance and we have a power to avert it. The first reason is that 80 to 85% of humanity living on this earth do not wish to be completely destroyed or extinct. They wish for life, they wish for happiness, they do not wish for death, they do not wish for unhappiness and misery. So the majority people have a will to be peaceful and to be sustainable. And that wish has, I think, a tremendous potential and power. And secondly, the peace is based on truth, and the destruction and the violence is based on untruth. The power of truth is much more powerful than power of the falsehood, violence or disturbance. And thirdly, the human nature is not violent. The human nature is love and compassion. We can see right from the childhood, the humanity survive on the affection and compassion alone. If a mother threw away a baby, the human baby can never be survived. All of us have been able to survive and become a good person or living so long life, enjoy all kind of happiness, is only due to the love and compassion of parents and family members and the society and the community. So the violence and destruction is a temporary conditioning upon the human mind, and the human nature is non-violent. So therefore, I think there is a great possibility to create a non-violent society all over the world. We can create non-violent society in a local premises and at the level of national premises, and then it can go to the international level. So if we can adopt a non-violence living by an individual, which can be copied by another individual, which can share in a family, and which can share in the community, and thereby it can go to the global level as well. So to conclude my presentation, I would recommend, or I would suggest what we can do and what we should do to face the challenges of today, the violence, the environmental degradation, economic disparity, and religious intolerance. All these we have to face right from the one's own level. Without changing oneself, he or she cannot even wish or work for changing others, not speak of changing the world. So we have to begin from the individual. If you can change yourself, you can change your family members. And if you can change your family members, you can change your community and your society and the entire world. So therefore, we shall have to begin the change from oneself. The first, we should ask from ourselves, can I become a non-violent myself? I can lead a non-violent life throughout my life. This is the first question. And secondly, can I dissociate myself, all the other people who are indulged into violence action, or I can dissociate those actions of the violence, and also I can determine to oppose the violence wherever it is happening. It may be local, it may be global level. Mentally, vocally, and physically, can I oppose it? And opposition does not mean go to the street and shouting slogans. Disagreement in the mind and expression of disagreement in expression, that makes a energy, that creates an energy. And to defend one's mind from the influence of the overwhelming violence things. So for oneself, you have to become a non-violent, you have to dissociate from the other violent people, you have to oppose the violence action, and you have to defend your own mind to be influenced by the violent people. Then secondly, create an environment within the family and later on in the community and later on in the society, an environment of non-violence. And thirdly, encourage all the people who are advocating for non-violence. It may be individual, it may be group, or it may be society, or it may be community. Wherever a non-violence initiative is there, we have to encourage them, support them. And fourthly, to have a kind of cooperation and collaboration among the non-violent workers. These days, the word networking is very popular. To make a networking of all non-violent people or non-violent groups all over the world, or in locality, whatever it may be. And fifth, to change the system of education, particularly primary and basic education system, which is a source of violence mind, and we shall have to, as a parent, as a teacher, as a community leader, whosoever it may be, we shall see the education system and to improve. Instead of indoctrinating the child, we shall have to try awake the inner intelligence of the child so that he or she could flower in goodness. My late friend Jiddu Krishnamurti always used to say, the purpose of education is to awake the intelligence, inner intelligence of the person so that the person can flower in goodness by itself. So goodness cannot be imposed, it shall have to be flower from within. And for that purpose we have to awake the inner intelligence. And for that matter, the present education system is useless. It is always pouring information and indoctrinating the person to be a competitive one and a lot of hate. So that shall have to be changed. And sixth is to live oneself on the basis of need, not on the basis of greed. To respect the resources and to share the resources with others. Gandhi have said very clearly that whosoever is using more than they need, then you are stealing some other person's share. So you become a thief. So to avoid to become a thief, each one shall have to lead a life which is on the basis of real needs. And the sixth or the final, the seventh or the